Welcome back to Timeless Messages from the Ching. Hi, this is Stephen. I hope you're doing well. So if you found this video, there's a reason you're here. The subconscious, unconscious, divine wisdom within you has guided you here, and there must be messages to help you with a new perspective, help you understand a course of action through a particular situation to arrive to a better pathway for yourself. So, without further ado, I'm going to ask the general question, as I always do. What are the most beneficial messages for the viewer? What are the most beneficial messages for the viewer? And then I'm going to throw the silver dollars that my dear friend Eric gave me, the Morgan silver dollars. I'm going to throw those 6 times and come up with either 1 or 2 hexagrams. And then I'm going to read and interpret the information for you. So please relax. If you can, shut your eyes and focus on a nice relaxed breathing. And just take the message in and think about whatever it is that's most prominent in your thinking in your life right now and how it relates to that. Here we go. Most beneficial messages for the viewer. 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 Okay, we got a number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Solid line. Most beneficial messages for the viewer. Most beneficial messages for the viewer. Most beneficial messages for the viewer. Okay, we got 1, 3, 9. It's a yang or masculine line that's going to change over to a feminine line. Okay. Most beneficial messages for the viewer. Most beneficial messages for the viewer. Same thing again. We got a 9 again. Masculine line that changes to feminine. Most beneficial messages for the viewer. Most beneficial messages for the viewer. Most beneficial messages for the viewer. Okay, we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that just translates across as the same line. Most beneficial messages for the viewer. Most beneficial messages for the viewer. Okay, we have a 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and that is a feminine line that changes to masculine. Most beneficial messages for the viewer. Most beneficial messages for the viewer. Most beneficial messages for the viewer. Okay, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that's a feminine line that carries across. Okay, let's find out what this is. Yin, yin, yang, that's Chin. And we have heaven on the bottom, Chin. Slightly different with an I in between. And we have Tui over here. So we can put it like this. Youngest daughter, the west. And then yin, yin, yang, and that's Chen again. Let's see if I can put it like this. Chen, bottom 3. Okay, so Chen and Qian. Chen and Qian, that is 34. 34. And Tui and Chen is 17. Okay, so I know what their names are. The second one is following. spring. And 34. The taming power of the great. Taming power of the great. Okay, let's find out what this is all about. So we start with 34. We have on the top trigrams, 3 lines of trigrams. The top is the arousing thunder, okay, that relates to the east direction. And Ching is the northwest direction with the creative heaven, okay. The great lines, that is, the light, strong lines are powerful. 4 light lines have entered the hexagram from below and are about to ascend higher. And these are the 4 lines they're speaking of, the masculine lines. The upper trigram is Chen, the arousing. The lower is Qian, the creative. Qian is strong. Chen produces movement. The union of movement and strength gives the meaning of the power of the great. Perseverance furthers the power of the great. This hexagram points to a time when inner worth rises with great force and comes to power, but its strength has already passed beyond the midline. Hence, there is danger that a person may rely entirely on one's own power and forget to ask what is right. There is danger, too, that being intent on movement, we may not wait for the right time. Therefore, the added caution is that perseverance furthers. For that is truly great power, which does not degenerate into mere force, but remains inwardly united with the principles of right and of justice. When we understand this point, that greatness and justice must be united, we understand the true meaning of all that happens in heaven and on earth. Okay. Thunder, electrical energy, mounts upward in the spring. The direction of this movement is in harmony with the direction of this movement is in harmony with that of the movement of heaven. So these 2 movements are upward, they're in harmony, they're not in conflict. It is therefore a movement in accord with heaven, producing great power. However, true greatness depends on being in harmony with what is right. Therefore, in times of great power, a superior person avoids doing anything that's not in harmony with the established order, nor do they walk upon paths that don't correspond with what is harmony and harmonic for the established order. So essentially the idea here is don't do anything that's out of harmony with the established order. Okay. So 9 in the second place is the masculine line that changes to a feminine line. So this talks about perseverance, perseverance bringing good fortune. The idea here is that the gates to success are beginning to open. Resistance gives way and we forge ahead. This is the point at which only too easily we become the prey of exuberant self-confidence. This is why the oracle says that perseverance in equal inner equilibrium without excessive use of power, this type of perseverance brings good fortune. Again, I'll reiterate this. This is why the oracle says that perseverance, such as the perseverance of your inner balance and equilibrium, and without using excessive force, brings good fortune. Okay? The idea here is to not become enamored or overinflated of your own self-confidence. Okay? Success is beginning to show itself, but don't become overly self-confident, and also don't use excessive force. Maintain your inner harmony and balance. Okay? 9 in the third place, the inferior person works through power. The superior person does not act like this. To continue is dangerous. A goat butts against a hedge and gets its horns entangled. Making a boast or bragging about power leads to problems and entanglements. Just as a goat entangles its horns when it butts up against a hedge. Whereas an inferior person revels in power, they delight in power. When they come into possession of it, the superior person never makes this mistake. The superior person is conscious at all times of the danger of pushing ahead, regardless of circumstances, and therefore renounces or lets go in good time the empty display of force. I'll read that once again. The superior person is conscious at all times of the danger of pushing ahead regardless of circumstances, and therefore the superior person lets go in good time of the empty display of force. So they're not attached to pushing ahead if the time doesn't support it. They're willing to hang back if need be. And sixth, in the fifth place, means loses the goat with ease, no remorse. Okay, the goat is noted for hardness outwardly and weakness within. The goat is noted for hardness on the outside and weakness on the inside. Here the situation is such that everything is easy. There is no more resistance. One can give up a belligerent, stubborn way of acting and will not have to regret it. So essentially, you're losing your hardness, your external hardness, and your inner weakness because the situation is now becoming easy because the resistance is dissolving. And you can give up a stubborn or belligerent way of acting and you won't have to regret it. That sounds pretty good. So, moving to the next hexagram of guidance, we find the following, that's following. So we have the joyous lake, which is the west above the arousing thunder, which is the east. So this is the youngest daughter and the oldest son, if you want to think about the attributes of the family members of the trigrams. The trigram Tui, the joyous, whose attribute is gladness, is above. Chen, the arousing, which has the attribute of movement, is below. Joy in movement induces a following. The joyous is the youngest daughter, while the arousing is the eldest son. An older man defers or shows consideration to a young girl and shows her consideration. By this, the older man moves her to follow him. Following has supreme success. Perseverance furthers no blame. In order to obtain a following, one must first know how to adapt oneself. If a person would rule, they must first learn to serve. For only in this way does the person secure from those below the joyous ascent that is necessary, if they are to follow him. If a person has to obtain a following by force, or by cunning, by a conspiracy, or by creating divisions between people, this person will arouse resistance, which will block the people from wanting to follow them. But even joyous movement can lead to evil consequences. Here the recommendation is perseverance furthers, that is, consistently do what's right, together with no blame. Just as we wouldn't ask others to follow us unless this condition of doing what's right is fulfilled, so it is only under this condition that we can in turn follow others without coming to harm. Therefore, always follow what is right. The thought of obtaining a following through the adaptation to the demands of a time is a great and significant idea. This is why the judgment is so favorable. Supreme success. Thunder in the middle of the lake, the image of following. Thus, the superior person at nightfall goes indoors for rest and recuperation. In the autumn, electricity withdraws into the earth again and rests. Here it is the thunder in the middle of the lake. that serves as the image. Thunder in its winter rest, not thunder in motion. The idea of following in the sense of adaptation to the particular time grows out of this image. Thunder in the middle of the lake indicates times of darkness, rest, and recuperation. Similarly, a superior person, after being tirelessly active all day, allows themselves to rest and recuperate at night. No situation one finds oneself in can become favorable until that person is able to adapt to the situation and does not wear themselves out with mistaken resistance. I'll read that last sentence again. No situation can become favorable until a person is able to adapt oneself to the situation and does not wear themselves out with mistaken resistance. So in following, I definitely hear the idea of going with the flow, taking time to rest and recuperate. Here we're using our efforts to move forward, but not with excessive power. We're in the flow. And here we're also paying attention to the fact that, you know what, we're making movement, resistance is dissolved, success is beginning to come through, and we need to have time to rejuvenate and rest after a long day of work. We can't push ourselves too hard. We have to take into consideration the conditions that help to recuperate and sustain us so that we can return to make more progress the next time. Okay? I hope these messages have helped you in guiding you to a new perspective, a new path with your current situation, what you're considering in your life. And thanks for tuning in. If you would like to have a personalized I Ching reading from me, the information about these readings is in the description box. And I hope you have a great evening or day, whatever that happens to be for you, and take care of yourself. Bye-bye.